Welcome to Metagame, the gaming and media podcast from SpawnCampCouncil, the think tank that takes content to the highest tier of excellence. Tonight we're giving you the highest information on the latest games, so boot up, log in, and enjoy the show. This week, Cookie Mama gets takeout, Resident Evil goes first person, the Joe Exotic interview exclusive, Predator Hunting Grounds walkthrough, WrestleMania 36 Easter eggs, GameStop chooses not to shelter in place, and the deepest dive of the MCU Season 4 changes available on the internet to date. But we aren't talking about any of that crap tonight. I'm your host, Adam 12, with our co-hosts KingDawes, SolidscorpionZ, and the man that puts artificial in intelligence, OldDirtyRobot. Good evening, gentlemen.
Can I just say I've never been more disappointed with something we're not talking about than a Joe Exotic exclusive interview?
Oh, man. So I watched the first episode tonight.
Oh, dude, you'll get hooked. It's so
I was
good.
I was thinking, I can't see myself watching this, but I kind of got to see what happens next.
That bitch Carol Baskin.
I tell you,
oh my God.
After watching all of those, I've realized that everybody has their Carol Baskin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carol Baskin is a universal character. Everybody's got one.
their Carol.
Oh, yeah. You'll see some life similarities in that show to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of awesome.
There are no good guys.
No. Yeah, what a weird concept. Anyways,
back to metagame. So tonight I'm going to start up with D&D errata. So errata is not what you think it is. Yeah, it's not.
Almost. Yeah. I mean, it pretty much feels that way, right?
It's not fan fiction porn, no. So it's just mistakes. They came out and said that they've had some, and they do this from time to time. Some issues. The main one being recently the newer printings of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, right? They have a spell in there that people have been using for a while called Healing Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way Healing Spirit was written is that, let me see here. So you would you could cast Healing Spirit, and at the beginning of your turn, you would get 1d6, right? Healing, as long as you're in this area around the caster. Everyone in there would get it.
Yep.
For 60 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a lot of combat.
Right? That's a lot of healing. That's like 60 HP, right? Per person.
Yeah.
And if you're not in combat, you're doing like stuff out in the real world and you get hurt by a trap or something like that, you're walking through. I'll just cast Healing Spirit and we'll just sit every 60 seconds and we'll be good.
Yeah, 60 seconds, no big deal.
No.
But in combat, it's just a constant heal.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Right. 1d6 times 10.
That's broken.
Yeah. It's stupid broken. So they finally figured it out and they have changed it and it's going to be coming out. It's not published yet, but it'll be coming out soon, where they're going to make it to where you use a limiter of 1 plus your casting mod a minimum of twice. Okay. So if your mod is like +3 or something, you can use it 4 times.
Yeah.
Or at the beginning of 4 turns. So a little bit better there. And on to Unearthed Arcana. So everybody knows about Unearthed Arcana, that they release these things with their playtest materials. SolidscorpionZ and I have talked a little bit about this, about the spells that were released in this. I think a lot of them are a little bit overpowered, but,
I agree.
That's
the point of a playtest.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's part of the playtesting. Yeah.
Well, the majority of them that seem overpowered are like level 6 spells. So you're talking about in-game material for that, So one of them, Otherworldly Form. Let's see. Now, many of these spells, most of them are like summoning spells. So I'm not going to go into details with every spell. It's just monotonous. All kinds of summoning stuff. Really cool. Some are kind of dumb. You can look at that all that up on your own. But this one's pretty cool. Otherworldly Form. So 6th level. You get a flying speed of 40 by casting this. All weapon attacks are magical, right? And you can use spell casting modifier instead of dex or strength for the roll. Let's say you get 2 attacks. And then you can call on upper planes or lower planes, your choice. When you do so on upper plane, if you choose to cast it through the upper plane, you get immune to charm status, necrotic, and radiant damage. If you choose lower plane, it makes you immune to poison condition, poison itself, and fire on attacks.
What is this?
Damn.
Otherworldly Form.
For what class?
I'm about to tell you. So the kicker on this is that you get this on Sorcerer, Wizard, but also Cleric and Warlock.
Wow.
And Bard if you take College of Lore. You can pick
Lore? Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick that spell.
How silly.
That's stupid. It's everybody has it.
Yeah. Everybody's got. You're flying 40 feet at a time.
Dude, just roll fucking Sailor Moon game. Everyone's got that for him.
Now again, it's 6th level, so it's in-game stuff. But I mean, come on, that's stupid. Like it's just
6th level isn't that far if you really think about it. That's probably like what 13, 12 level, like level 12 or 13. You get
6th level spell.
Yeah.
It's like 13, 14s.
Yeah.
Somewhere
So,
around there. You're fighting some hard ass shit. I mean, at that point you're fighting like literally monsters
CR20s and stuff
that can single target you and kill you instantly.
Yeah.
So you kind of need this is the conversation we kind of had before, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that this stuff is totally fine to be in the game. Just because there's monsters that one shot you.
Right.
There's easily I could get a group of 6 monsters together to fight a party of 6. But if all of those guys get off their one shot ability, you're fucking dead.
Right.
But have 3 or 4 of your characters
TPK.
like flying through the air. Like,
oh yeah, I mean it's a little ridiculous, but if you think about it, like try running a campaign with a bunch of characters that can fly.
Yeah,
I mean
I can tell you that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
it breaks a lot of shit, but you just kind of figure out ways to work around it.
Low ceilings,
low ceilings, gravity magic, stuff like that. That's what
arrows.
I played in a lot of campaigns where my character's been able to fly. And you definitely break shit, but you find ways to get it dealt with. It sucks.
Yeah. At the end of every turn, a barrage of arrows flies through the air. Everyone roll a dex save.
Yeah, right.
Another one, Wizard and Sorcerer both get this one. This is Acid Stream. So this is a level 1 spell, right? And now we already have a cantrip called Acid Splash, which you know about. That's a dex save. You get 1d6, right? Just a bubble of acid that pops. The cool thing about this one is the stream is 30 feet long, 5 feet wide. It's a concentration cast, right?
The fuck?
You can. It's a dex save as well, but it's constant damage if you're still concentrating. 3d4 damage at the start of every turn until the creature uses an action to wash or scrape it off.
It's napalm.
It's sticky. It's that sticky dude.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's napalm, dude. That's nuts.
That's dope.
That's very. So that's kind of it's in line with like heat metal almost. Whereas if you heat their breastplate, you have to take an action for them to take that off, or else they're just going to continue to take damage.
Yeah, and
so it's another good spell that you can really. I played a campaign with some local friends, and we used heat metal in that fashion, and it was against a general, and he ignored it, and eventually it chipped his health, and it's a cool spell. So. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they're doing more because that's like a go-to for most people. Heat metal's like a really,
it's super powerful.
It's a really broken spell.
Yeah, and
it's dumb for what it is. Yeah,
and
so that's interesting. Yeah, level 1's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's only 3d4 damage, but I mean you're talking constant every turn, unless they take an action.
And at first level, it's not like that's a 10th level spell.
All right, for the next part, I want you guys to like listen carefully and write down the favorite of these that you'd like. So because we got like in Pathfinder, and finally like I can't remember what campaign I did for you guys that had the tattoos. Somebody had a tattoo. I think it was Panda's character had a tattoo that would.
Yeah, that's when I saw this. I thought about that. I thought about our tattoo magic.
Yeah, so like tattoo magic is what they've got here. They're testing out, peeking now into 5e for the first time. Pretty sure it may have been in one of the other versions of D&D.
It's definitely in 3.5, and I think I'm not sure if it's in 4.0, but yeah, this is the first time we're officially seeing it.
So it's pretty cool. Rarity of these, at least initially, is parallel to size and power. So the size of the tattoo across your body, the more power it has, the more rare it is to get. Okay? You can only use one of these at a time, although you can use them like spells. You could have one or the other of these ready to go. You can change your tattoos during the day. All right. The first one is, so you're going to pick out which one you like, guys. So absorbing tattoo. Depending on the color of this tattoo, you get reaction immunity and half absorption of whatever damage you would have taken as temporary hit points.
Nice.
Okay. Acid for green color, cold blue, fire red, force white, lightning yellow, necrotic black, poison violet, psychic silver. Radiant is gold, thunder is orange. So whatever
you can change that color.
Yeah, you can change that, but you have to pick at the beginning of the day what your tattoo you have. You can change your tattoo if you have them.
Okay.
If you have more than one in your needle. It's all by the needle, so you can tattoo yourself at the beginning of the day and then have whatever one you want to use.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I understand it. Anybody out there in chat, let us know. Send an email to SpawnCampCouncil@gmail and let us know that I'm screwing it up, and that'd be fantastic. All right, the next one. Here we go. Barrier tattoo. The tattoo itself becomes liquid metal over your skin. So instead of armor, you can be nude wearing this tattoo. Liquid metal. The 12 plus dex is the least rare. The middle one is 15 plus dex, and the most rare is an AC of 18.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Now I wonder if that stacks with like a barbarian unarmored defense.
No. The player's handbook always says if there's two different types of armor, you have to pick one.
Overrides.
That's your choice, but you have to pick one.
Oh.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah. Right.
And well, what's good about that is 18's plate, and so you take disadvantage on stealth.
You would not
checks and rolls. You would not. You could be like a rogue with an 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can multi-class into a rogue and sneak around with an 18 AC.
Yeah.
Insane. And then I wonder if you could put a shield on top of that, like a buckler, and then you'd have a 20.
I imagine you could, yeah, because you could do that with plate mail.
Right. Oh. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So keep writing them down, guys.
Yeah.
The next one is called Cooling Grasp. So this has, and this one's pretty cool to flourish, 15-foot ink tendrils come out of your hands. DC 14 strength save, or you get 3d6 force damage, and you're grappled.
Oh.
Dang.
Sounds like your deep warlocks.
Yeah, so they can use athletics or acrobatics to get out of it if they are successful in that, beating the DC 14 strength, or by moving 15 feet away as they're grappled, if they can. All right. Next one, Eldritch Claw. Melee up to 30 feet. Gives you +1 magical, and you ignore immunity if unarmed.
That's broken?
Yeah.
Pair that with a monk.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, the range goes to
Flurry
30 feet.
blows at 30 feet. Bah.
Yeah, and +1 magical. +1 to hit, +1 damage.
And
Right.
ignore immunities?
Ignore
Right.
magical resistance and immunity.
Oh, that's broken.
Yeah, that sounds broken as fuck. What's the rarity on that, though?
Oh, it's super
Yeah.
rare. Yeah, these are super rare.
Super rare.
I would want like a tattooed squad of all these things.
Right.
Oh,
Attack
man.
plan. Naked
Attack
attack
plan.
plan. Let's go.
Just be fucking the Megazord, but with different
Yeah,
tattoos.
Form of.
The last of that is if somebody does get hit with any of those magical attacks, it adds 1d6 of force damage to it too.
Mm.
Yeah, that's one. All right, next one. Blood Fury. Crits on 19s.
Nice.
It's not bad.
Every time you get a crit, extra 4d6 of necrotic damage, and you can add that to yourself as temporary hit points.
Oh.
In 3.5, they had like critting at 18s or 19s as well. Like there's weapons that you would get.
Fighter can do that.
Yeah, fighter could do it. There's like weapons that you would get that the crit range was actually like 19 to 20 or 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you rolled, that for an attack, I mean, that's a huge crit range compared to just a 20.
Yep.
But crits are also handled differently there too. So
also with this one, you get a reaction. Any attack that you take damage, you get a reaction attack with advantage.
Oh, cool.
So if you're hit, you can react with an attack.
Nice.
React with attack, roll to hit, you get a 19, crit.
Dude, the Unearthed Arcana is always my favorite part of D&D. I feel like getting this
Breathes so much into the game.
Dude, yeah, being able to get constant, like, essentially DLC, like, every month of new shit to play. Like, we're constantly playing new campaigns, and there's always something that comes out, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to try that. Yeah. I almost played Star Druid for the new one that King is currently running, which last night was fantastic.
And that just came out, like, a month ago.
Yeah, it came out like a month ago, and the more I read about it, the more I want to play it.
Yeah.
Just because it seems so into like the style of play that I like to play druids.
Yeah.
Just like right up in your face.
Yeah, it's super cool. All right, next one's Lifewell. You have necrotic. You have narcotic and necrotic resistance.
Nice. Well, that kind of sucks, but I guess all right.
And then you also have a death save. So once per day, if you hit 0 hit points, you go to 1.
Can drink plenty of gnomish delight.
Yeah. So you are the anti necromancer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, next one's Ghost Step, something we are familiar with. All right, get ready. I hope you're writing all these down. You got to make a decision at the end. You get 3.
I'm making a wish list right now.
Yeah. So with Ghost Step, you get 3 charges per day as a bonus action to become incorporeal until the end of your next turn. With resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and all non-magical attacks, you're immune to grapple and restrain, and you can move through solid objects as difficult terrain.
But you can't attack in this form.
No. If you end inside something, though, you're shunted out, and you take 1d10 force damage for every 5 feet that you're moved out of something. Yeah. So you can't just die on the wall, or you can die coming out.
Ultimate infiltrator.
Yeah, just go right through doors.
Yeah.
Just go right through the entire group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could literally walk through guards.
The orcs approach you with knives drawn.
Okay.
I walk through them.
Ghost Step.
They barricade the door. Okay.
It's really funny because in League of Legends, Summoner's spell called Ghost Step is exactly what it is. You just walk right through everything. Mm-hmm. It's fucking hilarious.
The next one is Masquerade. Once per day, you get the Disguise Self ability.
That's good.
Next one's Spell Wrought. So you can have a spell as a tattoo, kind of like a scroll.
Nice.
As an example. So the spell level determines the spell's saving throw DC, attack bonus, spell casting ability modifier, and the tattoo's rarity. Examples. We'll go cantrip and we'll go 5th level. Cantrip, common rarity, your ability modifier, spell casting is +3. Save DC is 13. Attack bonus is +5. 5th level spell is rare. Spell casting ability modifier there is +5. Save DC is 17. Attack bonus is +9.
Oh. Woo. Get a fucking warrior with a goddamn like explosion spell or a fucking like some sort of nuke spell. He just fucking come in there with his fucking sword and just nuke.
Yeah. And I didn't see any kind of limiting that, certain classes or whatever can have these. I think anybody can.
And wish spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, +9 attack bonus.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, now that is the rare stuff, and they escalate as you go through. Like 3rd level, it changes to +4.
Touch of death on it, and just
it's crazy, man. All right, last one. Here we go. Shadowfell Brand. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to become shadowy and insubstantial for a moment, reducing the damage you take by half. You can do that once per day. So just as a reaction, I choose half damage.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Robot. What would you choose? What's your tattoo of choice, sir?
All right. There's a lot of good ones in there, but I think the one that interests me the most, because it kind of fits in the campaign that we're currently running, is the Eldritch Claw tattoo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm running a monk, and finding that one of the things I'm bumping up against is I'm
Range.
Up in the encounters, range, and then overcoming magic, or can't remember what it's called.
Well, the problem with monks is, like you found last night when you fought that flesh golem, was you can get up there and punch him as much as you want, but if he gets a good hit on you, you're pretty fucked. So like against tankier enemies, you don't necessarily, with being a monk and not having good plate armor and shields and all that, you're in the danger zone when you're that close.
Yeah, they're definitely DPS glass cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's overcoming immunity. That's what I'm struggling with.
You just gotta figure out a way to get into that goddamn turtle shell to use like full armor or something.
Right.
Armor up.
Yeah, as a bonus action. I've got to figure that out.
All right.
Turtle up in front of him.
Solid. What's your choice?
Dude, I'm gonna have to go with Ghost Step. I think Ghost Step has always just been kind of like an OP thing to do. Always. That's why I always try to pick characters with some sort of teleport action. And I just, that's just it. Second favorite would be the fucking, like, being able to put a spell on somebody.
Yeah.
And being able to use that spell, like you said, the nuke fighter that just drops it. You drop him into the middle of the thing and he just nuke, and he's going crazy. Yeah.
How about you, King?
Number one that I would love to see, I'd love to see as a player, hate to see as a DM, would be the barrier tattoo. I would hate to see a glass cannon, wizard or sorcerer with an 18 fucking armor class.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have to stop you is to pick you off with damage. And there's so many different builds you could do with having a high AC and then the mobility of no armor. That would probably be my number one. And then close second would be the Eldritch Claw, the ranged melee attacks. I think that, again, opens up a lot of cool builds that you could do.
Yeah. Personally, I think the spell rot would be the one. So that I could be a barbarian with a spell. I could go across class with that and have some kind of crazy, 9 attack bonus, +5 to hit.
Wow.
Come on. I mean...
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's stupid.
Good luck finding somebody with that kind of tattoo on you, though.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, that's all DM's discretion, right? I mean...
Yeah, question. How does that work? Do you have to be tattooed by someone or yourself?
I think it's yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it has to do with the item that you're being tattooed with. I think that's what they on that
different needles with different rarity.
Yes, the needles.
So
you
just like seek out the rare needles to.
I think they're considered like wondrous items.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They are.
Yeah.
So you're not level 1 picking up.
No. It's DM's discretion about finding it. It's,
okay.
Yeah. Figuring it out, identifying it, and all that stuff. I mean, you see a needle. So spell rot would be my first one. I think the second one that would be fun just to do would be the cooling grasp with the tendrils.
Yeah.
15 feet of that. And then grappling somebody, because grappling is so broken, I think, in D&D, at least 5e.
It shuts you down. Yeah.
So, that'd be good one to use. All right, that's
Very
all.
cool.
That's our full wrap up on the D&D stuff.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, King, what you got for us tonight?
So I wanted to discuss a recent development in my life that's been tearing my family apart, and that is Animal Crossing. So I saw a review that said pretty much the same thing, and I was like, there's no fucking way. And I was very anti-Animal Crossing. I've never played an Animal Crossing game before. And so my daughter, 7 years old, wanted it. She really wanted that game. And I was like, whatever, I'll get it for her. It's not too expensive. And so she got it, played it, and then I figured I would try it out. And it has turned into like my obsession here in quarantine, because every day you get up, you see what's new in the store, you see what's new in the clothing store, you do your chores, you're building stuff, you need to farm materials to build different things, you're buying and selling stuff, you can really play it however you want. You can be a turnip farmer and just hoard money, you can hunt bugs and fish, or you can be like an architect. There's so many different things to do, and it's the daily changes that are really cool. And so it's, like I said, the struggle is that there's 3 of us that play all on one island, and resources are finite for that day. So it's been a race in the morning, like who's getting up at 6 o'clock, who's getting up at 7 o'clock and getting on the island first and clearing out all the trees of their fruit and all the rocks of their iron ore and stuff. So it's just a fun game. And I'm not sure if any of you guys have it. I think you do have it.
I do. I'm playing it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so I'll either invite you to my island or vice versa, and we'll trade some goods. And so it's just been a good game. It's one of those games that has surprised me. Usually with games, I'm pretty set on, yes, I want this game. I already know about this game, and I get it. This game kind of just snuck up on me, and it's been a really it's hooked me pretty good. So I don't know if there's been games that you guys have had the same kind of experience with, but definitely worth a look.
Well, so I got into it Saturday morning, so yesterday.
Yeah.
First time I picked it up. I got it on release. I haven't played it at all, because the main thing that I'm a huge Stardew Valley fan.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Have it on 3 different platforms. And I was like, well, it's never going to be as good as Stardew Valley to me. it's better. It's definitely better.
Yeah.
The Stardew Valley had the part where you could go in the caves and do little battles and stuff. I haven't seen anything like that on Animal Crossing, so that's a little different. But I just love it, man. It's so well done. The graphics are fantastic, and the point of view of the gameplay, the way you're walking across the land, and everything is just just so pleasant. So this morning, I played for 4 hours yesterday. This morning, I look and my 3.5-year-old's watching TV. My wife's looking at her phone. I was like, I'm gonna get my Switch. Play some Animal Crossing. But I knew as soon as I did, that would be like, no, because it's a 3-hour hole. Like,
it is.
I can't put it down, dude. If I open it up, I can't put the damn thing down.
You have to do this, and then it leads to this, and then it leads to this. Yeah.
And you look up, and it's like noon.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of those things that it's easy to play, so you don't realize you're playing it. Like, it's not like if you go into a PvP whatever on Destiny or Division or something, and you are hammered for 10 minutes, and it feels like an hour has passed. Well, it's the opposite in Animal Crossing. Is like you feel like, well, I've only made like 4 things, but it's been 3 hours. So
yeah, it's great.
Very cool game to get lost into during our quarantine time here.
What else you got for us tonight?
I'm going to actually cut my segment short there, just because I have something for the next segment a little further down the podcast. So.
Okay. As a lead in there, Cuttlefish, I can't remember. The people that make Stardew Valley have just shown off a little bit of the new look of Witchbrook coming out, the Harry Potter Stardew Valley version. So
that looks interesting.
Yeah, I'll definitely be getting that. So.
Yep, same.
Yeah, looks good. All right, Solid, what you got for us tonight?
Well, first I just want to mention that Risk of Rain is almost going to be, after being out for a year, almost ready to be 1.0. I think
that game's not a real,
it's not a complete game. Yeah. So recently they did their new artifact update, and they added 16 artifacts, a bunch of new skill variants for all the characters, new bosses, new equipment, lots of new stuff, new stage, everything. So I think that they've got one more major update planned, and then that's going to be like 1.0.
New character.
Yeah, there'll be a new character and everything. I think it's a new character and like the last boss and the last
new map
area. Yeah, will be revealed. I think that's in the next couple months. But man, I'm excited. I played a couple rounds of it. Tried to play a little bit with Adam this weekend. It didn't quite work out, but definitely want to play some more of this as it's coming up. Get those artifacts unlocked before the actual game comes out.
Nice.
So we got something to do. So, and then besides Risk of Rain, Nintendo did have their little mini direct. When was it? The 26th of March, and they talked about how they're bringing Borderlands 3 to Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, couple new games from Square Enix. I believe a Bravely Default 2 was shown as well. It was kind of like a cool, it was a cool story-based RPG that they had. But they also brought up more Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC info. And so basically when you get the first DLC, which comes out, I believe, in June, let's see here. Yeah, I believe it's June. You'll get a new legendary Pokemon through, inside the quest. His name is Kung Fu. He's an adorable little Kung Fu. Yeah, Kung Fu bear.
Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda. No, he's like an actual bear. But the interesting thing I thought here was that they've got it's basically like 2 battle towers that you get to go to. I know there's like some story business, but the main part of this is that there's 2 battle towers you get to go to. And bringing this Kung Fu through those battle towers, depending on which battle tower you choose, determines how he evolves and what fighting style that bear evolves into.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
It's kind of like a cool, new, interesting concept for how to, choose your Pokemon, I guess. So I believe, let's see here, his evolved form is called Urshifu, and it is, if you go to, let's see here, the Tower of Water, it will be Rapid Strike style, and it'll be fighting water, I guess for his move. And then if you do the Tower of Darkness, it'll be Single Strike style, and that's fighting dark.
Nice.
Style. Yeah, so, it's pretty cool sounding. You know, I know none of us have really been on that Pokemon grind because there's really no Pokemon grind to be had.
No.
It's a pretty boring game once you get done with it all. But some new interesting content to kind of check out, I guess.
Okay.
They did also say that the new fighter for Smash Bros. Is going to be an ARMS character.
Oh, no way.
But they haven't said which. Yeah, they haven't said which ARMS character, so that'll be interesting to see. The game totally fits an ARMS character being in it as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's all I got right now.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Now, as we've been doing recently, let's do This Week in Failure from SpawnCampCouncil. Gotta say, the most failingest failure in the history of fails for me this week and the last couple has been Destiny 2.
Oof.
Robot, would you like to field us some little Destiny 2 knowledge?
We'll have to spread this around a little bit. There's I think the problem with Destiny right now is there isn't much to talk about in Destiny. Trials is struggling. I think that's the main thing going on right now. The PvE content is iffy at best, but every YouTuber, it seems like, has put out a video about cheating in Destiny or error codes in Trials. The loot is abysmal. It really seems like the only thing they got right in Trials, and that was, I think, the thing we all agreed on, is they really needed to mirror it or pattern it after D1. Yep. And what they got right was copy paste from D1 Trials. The things they got wrong, tokens, kind of the way loot is distributed, the propensity for high skill players to kind of hang out in those first 3 games and just reset their cards, all major issues in Destiny. And if you look at the participation numbers in Trials, really on every platform, it's just gotten progressively worse. And Trials was the big deal. So
yeah, they waited so long to make it, to perfect it.
Yeah.
Then they copy pasted it and added a bunch of crap in that doesn't even work. They didn't play test it, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that they even added anything to it. They actually omitted things, which made it worse.
Yeah.
The biggest glaring issue for me is the fact that there's no adept weapons. There's no reason to go to the lighthouse. If you wait, all the armor will go into rotation. All the weapons will go into rotation to the lower tiers. You'll get all the stuff. Even if you go 3 wins per week, you'll get all the stuff. The only reason to go flawless right now is to get the stuff first. You know, the helmet, the gloves, the armor, and all that stuff. And to get materials. You can get Ascendant shards. You get stuff that, end game mods. But other than that, there's really no point in going
even
flawless.
like those Ascendant shards and all that stuff, you can get more materials doing a Nightfall.
Nightfall's easier, and you get the same mods. Yep. And now that it's bugged with double loot with Nightfalls, there's really no point in not doing Nightfalls versus Trials.
Yeah.
Why is everything with Destiny always so broken?
The broken part right now that I think that Bungie's really trying not to address is that this is their first Activision, like Sans Activision season. This is the first. They were very excited. Bungie was very excited for this to be the first Bungie season, and it hasn't been spectacular.
Let's add in that Bungie also threw Activision under the bus as soon as they split.
Oh, yeah.
Said that all their problems were because of Activision's pressure to get the game out so fast that they didn't have a chance to play test it and make it good.
Yep.
Well, now they've made it good, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Activision made us put all this content in the game. and that is not what Bungie wanted to do, apparently. When I looked at this season, the thing that really stuck out to me, and it's because Bungie regularly says this, so they said the reason there's no Pinnacle weapons is because they did try. Okay, that's cool. I mean, those are all okay. But then you go into the Eververse store and you see dozens of unique items, unique models of sparrows, of ships, really all of that stuff. And I realize where the creative development time is going. It's not going into loot in a loot or shoot. It's going into purchasable loot in the store. And I was thinking through this the other night, and I hope this is what's going on. I'm going to be a Bungie apologist. I think they're working on whatever's next, whether it's the big game or it's the big DLC in September. And they have very few resources actually dedicated to the seasons. Think about the live team in D1. You know, we had the live team, and they acknowledged it. They called it out and said, hey, we've got this really small team. They're working on it while we work on what's next. I'm hoping what's next is, and the way they fund what's next is through the Eververse and the transactions in Eververse. That's my hope. Is that they're putting very little content in the game and saving it for a big release.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
Look at Curse of Osiris. That was a low point in Destiny 2. Destiny 2 came out hot as a pistol. Curse of Osiris came around, the player base dropped. Then Warmind came out, and it was huge. And that size expansion is something that they need. Not a new season. They need another expansion, like a Forsaken size expansion, to really breathe any kind of life back into this. The Trials ship right now has kind of sailed. You're not going to see an overhaul of Trials probably until next season, if anything, because they can't change mid-season they can't add adept weapons mid-season. They can't change how the boons work mid-season. It's not going to happen. So we're stuck with Trials as it is for the foreseeable future, which sucks because Trials was something that everybody was excited for. That was, people made careers off of Trials, streamers. Even now, people are getting some life back into their stream because of Trials. But you can even take these top tier players, and when they're complaining that they're getting pub stomped on the first 3 wins of a card, it's actually easier once you get past your 3rd win to do a Trials carry than it is the first 3 wins, which is obscene because that takes normal players, anybody under a top tier player, it's super inaccessible, and you can't even turn in tokens until you get your 3rd win to get gear. So you have to get that 3rd win before 3 losses, or else you're done. That's it. So it's a tough right now. You need higher tier loot to draw those higher end players to the top of the cards. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you just sit at 3 wins and pub stomp and get 400 tokens and turn them in? So,
yeah, totally agree.
Our friend that does a lot of top tier Trials playing, top tier PvP playing, he said that they went flawless this weekend, and all were trying to get a triumph, so they kept their flawless card on. Right. Mm-hmm. The very next game, they got matched up with somebody that they looked up on was it Trials.gg that had 10 losses. Like 10 straight losses. Yeah. So
meaning resetting cards.
Yeah. Yeah, resetting cards, and they were 10 in a row with losses, and they got paired with these guys with 3 flawless cards. Matchmaking does not exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy into the base matchmaking anymore. That's the way they sold it. Yeah. And we've seen that happen when you're early on. You'll go up against teams that have a nice win streak basically, and you're in that struggle just to get to 3. And you goodness gracious, you're getting matched up against streamers and Bomb Squad kittens and teams like that. It's
you start once you play Trials or even high end PvP for a while comp, you start to recognize clans. And once you see like a true talent is a clan that not everybody knows, but they're very top tier. And when I was grinding for Recluse, I matched up with a few of those teams and just got stomped. And it's frustrating. I mean, you feel bad for your own performance because you're just getting stomped. You feel a little bad for your teammates. It breeds animosity there, and then it sours the whole mood.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you guys probably view this the same way, but I don't expect to win all the matches.
No.
As a matter of fact, I expect to lose a fair share of the match. It just seems like the thing that's missing, and I saw this in comp too, is that there is an upper tier player that shouldn't be matching with lower tier players.
Yeah, period.
Realistically.
There should be a skill floor, not skill ceiling, but a skill floor.
Yeah.
And they just don't have
a comp plus, if you will.
Other things
I'm worried
are the same, like with the PvE issue, with the underground bunkers, the connectivity issues with beavering all the time. Getting kicked out of matches, not joining back in. Once you get kicked out of a trials match as you're going in, you can't get back in it. They said they're listening and they're going to fix all this, but we've heard that
even when they say they fix things, like the trials win glitch right now, where if you if you're locked out of your trials wins right now, you get no credit for your 3, 5, or 7 win. You can go flawless and you can get the chest, but if you're locked out of those wins, not only can you not get the pinnacle gear at 3, 5, 7, but you can't even turn in tokens this whole week. And Bungie said they fixed that, and it was a big banner as soon as you loaded up the game on this past Friday. They said trials is fixed, we're ready to go. And the second people started getting to their 3rd win, they weren't getting loot.
So it's like it happened to me, my hunter. I can't do that.
Yeah. This is a double whammy for Bungie. With everybody quarantined and home wanting to play games, this is the worst fucking season that you could do this shit. And then on the other side of it, they can't do anything about it. And I get it. I understand you're not in the studio and you're trying to work from home and solve these problems, and it's a challenge, but it's bad timing. And it's not like they could see this down the road and say, yeah, we need to nail that one, but it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the nail. I mean, I know Destiny will always pull people back, but
I'm the opposite. I think it's a low point again. They'll bounce back. They always do.
Yeah.
They're a hype trailer away.
They are a hype trailer away. Bungie is the comeback kid, in my opinion. I've seen this. There's been D1 lows up to D1 highs. And, Destiny, there's a lot of games that shoot right up, plateau, drop. There's a lot of games that shoot right up, instantly drop. Bungie's been a constant wave, up and down, up and down. And when it's hype, it's very hype. When it sucks hard.
Well, this is the lowest sucking hard I've seen. I mean, this is very, very low. The PvE content is terrible. All the problems
it's recycled
right now is just it's just not good.
The only thing I'm
different. The reason it's different from what you're saying with Destiny in the past is that Destiny in the past had the backing, had the studios, to make that happen. I just don't know if they can come back. Like, I just don't really think they have the ability to fix this one.
Well, they don't have Activision there to throw money at the problem either. Like you said, you can. Back when Activision was holding the purse strings, and they could enlist these studios to come in and make these dungeons that captivated people, and to make these raids, and they don't have that right now. They're kind of resting on their laurels right now and hoping that whatever they have around the corner in the fall is enough to capture some people, whether it be D3 or a big expansion.
Yeah.
High Moon and Vicarious Visions with Bungie made really good content.
Yep.
Warmind, Forsaken, the Menagerie, some of the things that you think back and really enjoy in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They're responsible for that. Not Bungie has say or oversight, but the other part about you talked about the low of the low, and this is like other lows that Destiny has had. The thing that's different this time for me is it's 100% them. And we could always point and say, well, maybe this is an Activision issue, or right now where Bungie is at is 100% their own doing with no excuses.
Yeah. That's true. Well, luckily there are good games out there during this the sheltering in place. I've been playing a lot of Division 2, fantastic game. I haven't seen you on there in a while, Robot. Miss you. Don't know why you're not playing it. What's
Why
going
aren't
on
you
over
there?
there?
What's up?
So, yeah, I got an email.
Uh-oh.
I got an email from Massive, and I'll go over it super quick. We've detected activity on your account, which is in breach of our code of conduct. And subject to banning include misconduct and other behaviors that harm intended player experience. So, essentially, I did a damage, and I'll go ahead and come clean about it. Turret in the game, really any turret in the game, and you could butter E and move your scroll wheel forward and repeat that, and it would stack damage on your primary weapon. And I definitely engaged in it. I have been consistently glitching in games for a long time, and I'll talk about some of the other games in a little bit. But yes, I exploited the game, and I took full advantage of Massive and Division and the Division Division player base by running through challenging missions as fast as I could possibly do. Good 3 solid days. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I really didn't get much good loot. I had one exotic, one poorly rolled exotic out of all of that. The bad thing for me is the ban starts on the 17th, and it goes. That period of my account will be reset.
Oh, we missed it. Hang on, you're breaking up a little bit. What'd you say? That starts on the 17th, and then what?
It starts on the 17th, and it goes up through last Tuesday. So that period of time, my account will be completely wiped or reset back to the 17th.
Rolled back.
Roll back. The period that I actually did the glitch was about 3 of all that. And loot in the division is pretty stingy. Exotics are pretty. And after the glitch, it was actually Sunday before they announced the ban. I had like 4 exotics drop in one day. Bullet King, which that's one I'd run that mission like 55 times, 60 times, and I finally had it drop. So I don't disagree with the ban. I think that's totally fair and understandable on their end. I do disagree with the account rollback, but it's not my game, and I respect their division. So I thought through some other games. Really, I wanted to ask you guys: have you ever glitched a game before? The ones that personally stick out for me. Let me make the list. I beat with using a potion bottle glitch. It essentially made my. That was Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker.
Okay.
Yeah, you could basically keep your bottle full of potion. I used that to beat Wind Waker. In The Witcher, I did the cow glitch. You basically killed a cow, got its hide, went and sold it. And the thing that bugs me the most about RPGs is being resource poor. Mm-hmm. So if I can exploit a game to have maximum money or maximum some other resource, I typically am going to do. I've duped weapons in Skyrim. Yep. I did the Forge farm in Destiny.
Yeah, I need to add that to my list, don't I?
And I feel like I need to confess all this and be forgiven by the game gods. But what other glitches have you done? What other game have you guys exploited?
My favorite was Halo 2, doing the leg switch glitch, so you could climb to the top of the arenas, and you could literally just look down on the arenas and just shoot everybody from the top, and you just win the game. It was stupid. Like if that's how you want to like climb the ranked ladder, that's cool. But I had some fun with it. I mean, playing with infinite rocket launchers on a glitched lobby or something, like that shit's always fun. I've done the Skyrim glitches where you can get down to the those chests at the bottom, like of every single city has one of every item inside the chest, and there's some it's crazy ways to glitch down into those. I don't know. Speedrunning's got a lot of glitching in it, so I'll do that a lot, I guess.
I guess from my experience going all the way back, Super Mario Brothers, going above the clouds to the negative worlds, right? In order, I guess probably next was Call of Duty 4. When you would get on Crossfire, on the map Crossfire had a sort of top and bottom, a road with a bus on it. And down at the bottom there was a blown out sort of apartment complex, had a washing machine on it. And you can get on that washing machine and sort of jump into the outside the map and just shoot everyone without even being seen. I use that a lot. That was
How do you think I got my gold AK? Come on.
Borderlands 2 weapon duping.
Oh yeah.
Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2 as a whole.
I mean, that was a game mechanic at that point. That wasn't even a glitch.
Let's see. Then Destiny 1. I was a lamp runner on Crota. They would go on the first or second lamp and
get exploded up.
Explode up to the top of it and run behind the map or the edge of the map. And
you probably jumped on top of to cross the bridge. You can jump on top as a self-res warlock and despawn everything.
What we did is we'd spawn a sword bearer and I would go across first with the sniper rifle that makes you invisible. I forget what it is.
Patience and time.
And then as a hunter, you could just squat and go invisible as well.
Squat behind the lamp.
Yeah, behind the lamp, and then all the bad guys would come out and everybody across the bridge would kill them, and we just clear that entire thing. I did the leaving Crota. Being the server host, everybody
unplug Crota,
turn my machine off, turn the Xbox off, and then come right back in, and he just wouldn't move, and so you could just take him. That's the heavy glitch. I guess we all did the heavy glitch. Like you get up in the top on Crota and then shoot all your ammo out, so you get all heavy. Yeah, so
people just sitting there, pow, pow. Wait a minute, I'm not done yet.
60 seconds, everybody just shoot.
Don't start it.
Yeah. So I guess I've done some. Yeah. How about you, King?
Most recently, I'll start there. I'm glad it's bedtime because much to my daughter's chagrin, I was part of the Animal Crossing item duping glitch, and so what you would do, and this got patched quickly by Animal Crossing, you would set down a table. A 1x1 table, and you would do local play with another character you had. So I would take my daughter's account and you'd local play. So she would come to my island instance, and I would have her hold on to the table. And I would they give you a Nintendo Switch in that game, which you can sell for 6,000 bells, which is a decent amount of money. You set the Nintendo Switch on top, and then you take the controller in one hand for the other person and have them spin the table. And at the same time, you take the controller with your left hand and grab the item off the table. Well, what happens is the game does a logic check and says, well, you grabbed it, but that person spun the table, so the item must still be there. So it duplicates the item. So you could do that over and over and over and over. And I had like 10 million bells just duplicating Nintendo Switches. And it's allowed me comforts in Animal Crossing. I am a wealthy, dirty man. And also time traveling in Animal Crossing is very prevalent. That's been around forever in Animal Crossing. You can take your Nintendo Switch, change the date on it, fast forward. I also gained a lot of wealth doing that by putting a bunch of money in my bank account, setting the time back to the year 2000, and then fast forwarding to the year 2060, and all the interest accrued would be there. And so you just keep jumping back and forth 60 years. And I have a ton of money in Animal Crossing, a ton of stuff, but it's all dirty money, and I feel bad. My daughter hates me for it. But so that was the most recent one. But yeah, all the regular stuff, your COD glitches and your the item duping was big. That's with Borderlands. That's the normal stuff. Everybody does these glitches, and I feel bad for like Robot's situation, where because of an indirect game mechanic that everyone would do anyways, like you're gonna punish that person and roll their account back 7 days to erase all their progress from the previous time. That's not necessarily the player's fault. That's more the developer's fault, in my opinion. Like with the Anthem glitch, with the chests, people would do these chest runs on these Grandmaster difficulties and get all these super high-end items and then just bail out and not actually do the activities. And people are getting banned for stuff like that.
You could just farm the activity and just the loot would just keep accruing in the same area.
Right.
So
streamers got banned.
And people are getting banned for that. And that's not the player's fault. Every game, people are going to find the easiest way to do something or the most fruitful way to do something. And if your game is broken and allows it, fix it. Patch it, make it non-existent, but don't punish your player base for taking advantage of that. If it was something where if Robot was able to take that damage glitch and go into the dark zone and wipe people and take their loot and directly affect other players, then yeah, I understand seeing a ban there. But if you're staying in PvE content and just wiping high-level missions out because of the damage multiplier, fuck that. That's not appropriate to ban the player for that.
I think Massive there's been a lot of glitches in Division 1 and Division 2, and Massive has taken up more of a Bungie-like stance on them in the past. With this last one, you could boost your DPS and then go in the Dark Zone or PvP, and that's the kind of stuff where I draw a line, and I think might be tied to why they took such strong action. But you can go on my account and see I have 0 PvP kills. I've actually, because I think it's a horrible PvP mode, I've never stepped into the Division's PvP mode. I do go in the Dark Zone, very much aware that, whenever I boost DPS, I'm not going to go in the Dark Zone. That's just not fair, not fun, frankly, for other players. The thing that really struck me about their response is like ownership for it. Mm-hmm. If Bungie doesn't do a lot of things right, but I think the one thing they do handle properly is when people find game-breaking bugs in their game. They make it fun. Hell, they give you an emblem for some of it. Laser tag. Everybody gets an emblem. Abuse wolves, you get an emblem. Loot Cave. Loot Cave is the one that I think is the most similar to this damage glitch because you can loot faster. But then they patch it and put a memorial in-game. When you go and inspect it, this is the millions of souls died here. I don't remember exactly what it said. But in all of Massive's response, they never said, hey, we know we have issues with our, and we feel bad that we put something that you could exploit in it. And I think their messaging was off. They could have handled this a little bit different. I also found that there's a whole army of players on Reddit and Twitter who have apparently never glitched a game in their entire life. And they equate doing something like this to theft or breaking into someone's home and stealing money. And I didn't realize how many righteous people there are in the world. But apparently there are a lot of them.
Yeah, really.
I don't trust a single one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm professing my guilt to all of you, and I hope you can forgive me for breaking a game and potentially ruining the economy of the Division.
Yeah.
I say I don't know. I go back and forth on it. There's some things I'll do and some things I won't. I'll take the Borderlands 3 mods. I'll take one of them, right? I'm not going to run all of them, every character, and do it. I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't let me make you all the characters.
No, I wouldn't. I'd let you make one. Maxed out with everything, but then I want to have the experience too. Because the problem that I have with that, like we did with Pokemon Sword and Shield, is another good example. Is that we got leveled up so fast that the game just wasn't fun to play anymore. And I think Borderlands 3, we suffered with that too. Yep. Definitely. Well, with Borderlands 2, it wasn't a problem because it didn't start duping until it already hit in-game content. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we ranked up so fast in Pokemon that it didn't make any sense to play anymore. So yeah, I think it does ruin a game. But that's a personal experience. I mean, that's just my selfishness. That's not me apologizing for all the harm I've done to the world. And I would have
That's just-
definitely
that's
gone
just
into the
ruining
dark
me.
zone. If I'd known about that glitch, I would have gone into the dark zone. I would have gotten the rank up.
Murk some people.
Shop.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thank you for the confession.
I'm on the other side though. I'll continue finding glitches and keep using them.
Yeah.
The only time I ever have a hard time with it is if it's like impacting other people. You know, I would do fun things like the Prometheus lens thing in Destiny. Everybody was doing it. It was just laser tags in Destiny. The Infinite Nova Bomb glitch, it sucked, yes, but it did get patched pretty quick. But if you're like, I would have a problem going into the dark zone in Division and just murking people and stealing their loot, because that is something where they worked hard for that stuff and now you are taking that. Whereas in Destiny, if I nuke you with 35 Nova bombs, oh well, you lost that game, on to the next one. You didn't lose anything because of it. In a looter shooter like Division or something where you have to earn loot and someone takes that away through nefarious ways, that sucks. And that's where I would have a hard time with it. But I'll keep duping those Nintendo Switches and Animal Crossing.
I thought they were going to do a ban on this, and I guess where I thought they would draw the line is into the dark zone or played PvP. I for some reason, like that's where Massive would do the research and go,
Right.
okay, you did this and you went into the dark zone. You know, hundreds of age. That's where the ban line would be. Boy, it was.
Boy, was he wrong? I think is what we got from that. Yeah.
They're banning your internet right now, dude. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, I'm not apologizing for mine. Not at all. How about Trials, King? You apologizing for that?
No. So right now, I was found out to be a dirty booster. Trials is something that right now, unless you're an S tier player, you're not going to do well in Trials. And unless you cheat in Trials, then you're not going to do well. You can be one of two, I think, right now and succeed. You can be super, super good at the game in PvP and excel, or you can cheat. And that has brought me, I saw a ad on a YouTube video for boosting service, paid some money, had myself carried to the lighthouse, and in the current sandbox, I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If in previous seasons, like when Trials of the 9 was out, I went to the lighthouse. I was better at PvP at that time because I actually played. But it's something that's on PC especially. If you're on console, you don't have the same issues PC has with the cheating and the stuff like that, the super high-end people. I mean, there are still very good people on Xbox and PlayStation, but it looks like the majority of them are over on PC. But that brings me to a point of, boosting with a paid service versus not being involved at all. I mean, that boils down to a personal preference, and I can see myself putting a little bit of money into something I enjoy. Like, I'm not going out to the movies. I'm not doing this. If I want to spend $30 to get some endgame PvP gear, then sure. Yeah, it's not a problem.
There you go. I don't disagree with that, especially in the state that it's in now, like you said. Yeah, it's just not playable. All right.
It doesn't matter because that's pretty much the only people that are playing the game, right? That's a Trials or the super S tier guys that can double carry, or fucking hackers.
Aimboters.
Yeah. Well, the numbers decline as fast as they are. I mean, it's getting thinner and thinner, the population. So,
and that's what happened with D1 Trials at the end. Was unless you were just a god tier player, you didn't play Trials.
No.
You had the people farm Trials every weekend just to get the gear, and a lot of them, like I said, built careers out of it. But there's no middle ground in Trials. You're either really bad at it and you get stomped, or you're really good at it and you succeed. The mid-tier people kind of just float in that 3-game period, and they'll get the gear eventually, but it's going to be a real struggle the whole way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. All right. Anybody like anything else to talk about? All right, I guess we'll wrap it up.
We're good.
Remember to email us, everyone, at SpawnCampCouncil@gmail.com if you want to get a shout out on the podcast. If you have any questions or any topics that you'd like to add in, something we could cover for you, we'd be glad to do it. Thank you everyone tonight for listening and watching Metagame. Great job to you guys. Thank you for all that you've done and all your research. Where can we find you in the real world, KingDawes?
You can find me everywhere on social and on gaming at KingDawes1.
OldDirtyRobot, when your internet's working, where can we find you?
Twitter. That's it. OldDirtyRobot.
Very good. SolidscorpionZ. I'm
on Twitter. That's all. And hopefully going to be streaming again soon.
Very good. Very good. I'm Adam 212. You can catch us every Saturday doing KingDawes' D&D campaign that we've been doing through my own Twitch channel, and that's live there, but it's done on podcast through SpawnCampCouncil's Campfire Tales, and you can find it on SpawnCampCouncil's YouTube site as well. That concludes our cast, everyone. Check us out in 2 weeks or thereabouts for our next episode of Metagame. Until then, gentlemen, remember, they're large, they're fast, and fucking you up is their idea of tourism. Good night, everyone.